Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am updating my paper banner that I hung up over the holidays to something that will last all throughout the year, and I wanted to show you how I did it. So the supplies that you're going to need for this project are a roll of paper, double-sided tape, and some twine, which you can probably find all of those supplies at a dollar store. And then you'll need some way of putting the words onto that. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that when I get to that point. But for the basic scroll, it's very simple. You just need to roll out your scroll to the size that you are going to need. I just kind of measured my wall, and then I'm going to give about 4 inches on each end, and then place the double-sided tape about 4 inches from the end of the roll of paper, and then just kind of let your paper roll up. I tightened mine up just a little bit, just so that it was a little bit more uniform and not kind of loose. And then you just stick your fingers inside the roll and adhere the tape as best you can. You don't want to push down from the top, of course, because that will flatten your paper. And then I just did the same thing on the other side, and my scroll is basically ready to go. And then I'm going to add the words. So I am using my Cricut machine, which I have, and I'm just using permanent black wall vinyl. I will link everything in the description box below. But like I said, if you don't have a Cricut machine and you really want to do this very inexpensively, because obviously I didn't use the whole roll of that brown paper, so you could make mini scrolls and change these out over time. But if you don't have a Cricut or any other sort of electric die cutting machine, there's many other options you could do. You could print out the words and trace them and then color them in with a black Sharpie or marker of some sort. You could try your hand at hand lettering it if you wanted to. You could use a projector and trace and then color it in. There's so many things you could do if you don't have an electronic die cutting or cutting machine. So you don't need to have one of those in order to make something like this, especially something fairly simple like this. But if you do have it, you might as well use it. So I have one and I use it to cut these things out. But I just wanted to give you guys some options if you don't. One other thing is, I know that some small shops may sell just the vinyl, and you could purchase whatever you wanted it to say, and then you could stick it to your paper banner. So I wanted to also share with you guys one other tip about transfer tape. I prefer to use paper transfer tape anytime I'm using vinyl or stencils to put on my project. There are many other types out there, but I wanted to show you first of all that I use paper transfer tape, and I'm going to show you my really super secret tip right now on how I get it to not stick to the brown paper. I stick it to my sweatpants. So this paper tape is sticky enough to transfer your vinyl anyway, but you don't want your transfer tape to stick to your brown paper, or you will basically ruin your whole project. So if you're doing this with vinyl, make sure you are not using a really sticky transfer tape. And even though this transfer tape is not super sticky, I still stuck it to my sweatshirt and my sweatpants to kind of take some of that stick off of there. But there are some brands, and I'm going to say they're mostly clear transfer tape. You definitely wouldn't want to use contact paper like you do that you get from the grocery store or from a hardware store. You definitely wouldn't want to use that. You don't want anything super sticky, and you can see that this transfer tape is not really sticking to the background of the vinyl, but it will do the job, and then it's not going to be permanent on the paper and ruin it. I hope that that makes sense. But if you've ever done anything with really super sticky transfer tape, you'll know what I mean. So I'm just marking out the center of my paper and kind of where I want things to be. And then I'm going to start with the middle part, which is the let's stay home. So I'm starting with the word stay, and that's going to kind of center where everything else is going to go. And I was really careful, even though I had de-stickied this transfer paper, I was still really careful about it, and you can see how beautifully it comes up. But I know that paper to paper, if it's super sticky, it's just going to ruin your project. So if you do try this, please remember that. I will link, of course, the paper transfer tape that I use. And like I said, I use this for all of my projects. We use paper transfer tape in our store. So I know that it's good stuff and it works perfectly for all of the projects that I do every day. Another tip when taking your transfer tape off is to come at about a 90-degree angle like that, or a 45-degree angle. Yeah, 45. Yeah, sure. Anyway, it just makes it so much easier. So now that I'm getting all these words on there, I'm going to add some twine, and then I'm going to be able to hang this up in place of the one that I hung up for Christmas. So the one that I hung up for Christmas features the songs Silent Night. And I did share that on my Instagram, but I thought maybe I need to do a whole video on how to do this on my YouTube channel. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys today. So I got this twine at the Dollar Tree, and I got all 3 of those little bundles for $1. So for a couple of dollars, you can make so many of these that you could change them out once a month if you wanted to have them have a different theme. One little tip here, I kind of forgot about not being able to string that twine through that hole. So it probably would have benefited me to put the twine in there before I put the double stick tape, but I was able to make it work. I just tied a little knot, and then once I got things hung up on the wall, then I adjusted, and I had to make it shorter anyway, and then I was able to move the twine and tuck that little knot in underneath. Another little tip for hanging this, I used some flat push pins, and I stuck those inside the roll because you can see that it's wanting to roll up on itself. So when I hung it up on the wall, I used push pins in between there, and then that will help it lay down flat. And that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you come back for more future videos. For more behind the scenes on today's video, as well as bonus DIYs and just a little bit of fun, make sure you're following me over on Instagram. That's where the party's at. Thanks so much for watching.